Hi and welcome to another episode. This is David with Geeks and Jocks, and today we're going to talk about some commander combos that I personally use. Some of them are really good unlocking your opponents. Some of them are really good and I actually just taking them out altogether. So first off, we're going to start with Summer Spect and Hive Mind. So Hive Mind is an enchantment that says that whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, each other player copies that spell. It's not a May ability, so they copy that spell. And they choose new targets for his or her copy. So when you play Summoner's Pact for 0, you can go for a creature that is green. So if your opponents are not on green, they don't even get that activation. And by the time they go into their upkeep, they have to pay 2 colorless into green. Commander rule says they can only make mana under commander identity color. Therefore, they can't pay for Summoner's Pact and they effectively lose the game. So, if your opponents are not in green, they don't get the activation of Summoner's Pact as they cannot go for a green creature. And they can't pay on their upkeep. Therefore, by the time it gets back to you and you actually pay those two colorless, 2 green, which you probably have because you're in Simic, and you ramp up to greater extent, and you paid 6 mana for Hive Mind, so you don't lose the game. But at least I think 1 or 2 of your opponents, those that play mono red, mono black, or they just don't play green under commander colors, they just lost the game. Now we go to another combo that this is mostly a lock combo, is playing Minkusin Lattice and Karn the Great Creator. So Minkusin Lattice makes all the permanents artifact in addition to their other types. This also includes lands. And Karn the Great Creator makes that your opponent can't activate artifact abilities. Therefore, your opponent cannot even make mana or pay mana to it just locks them out. And if you have a way to win the game on your turns, let's say you destroy also all their creatures or whatnot, you may effectively win the game because they're all locked down. If they cannot respond to Karn while it's in the while it's in the stack, or they don't float their mana and kill Karn, then they just lost the game because they're locked out of the game, and you have all access to all your resources and you can still do stuff, right? Also, plan B, you can play Vandal Blast. Let's say your Karn gets counter over, they destroy it somehow. They destroy it. They exile it. They cancel Karn on the stack. Then you can play Vandal Blast for 5. So you pay 4 colorless and 1 red, and the Vandal Blast say, destroy target artifact you don't control. And Vandal Blast says, destroy target artifact you don't control. But if you pay the overload cost, you pay 4 colorless and 1 red, you change the instance target, destroy target artifact, to destroy each artifact you don't control. Yes, some of your opponents may have something to make all their permanents indestructible, kind of like Heroic Intervention. However, if one of them survives, that's fine. You killed in a pod, you killed 2 opponents, so that's very good for a 2-card combo. You don't even need Karn. You just need Minkusin Lattice, which is the main card for this combo, and Vandal Blast to destroy all their permanents, all of them that don't have indestructible or they don't gain indestructible. And if we go to another combo, it's a 3-card combo but you need dramatic reversal when you cast Isochron Scepter, because you're gonna do imprint dramatic reversal, and you need a mana rock in your that generates 3 mana, because you want to be netting 1 mana every time, every loop you tap Isochron Scepter. You then you copy the ability of dramatic reversal, which is untap all non-land permanents. Therefore, you untap Basalt Monolith and Isochron Scepter, and you tap again Basalt Monolith, netting 1 mana. You spend 2 to copy the effect of dramatic reversal infinite times, or a million times, and then you put into play Walking Ballista. You cast Walking Ballista for 1,000,000 counters, and you kill your opponents 1 by 1. This is a really good. Combo. People use Green Monolith and Green Monolith instead. People use Green Monolith instead. However, the price difference between Basalt Monolith and Green Monolith is just, I mean, one of them is $100+, and Basalt Monolith, it doesn't even cross $10, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a great combo to kill with Walking Ballista. That brings us to our next combo. This combo, it's a 2-card combo, but you need to have Silence in your hand when you cast Isochron Scepter. However, you lock down your opponents from their turn. You don't lock them out from each opponent's turn. Let's say you're in your turn. You have Filigree Sages. You cast Isochron Scepter, and you imprint Silence to Isochron Scepter. Therefore, on your next turn, you pay 2, and you lock out your opponent. Your opponent can cast spells this turn. You do it on his upkeep after his upkeep. So he draws his card and he can't do anything. Now you go to your other opponent's turn, and your opponent A, the first opponent you actually locked out of his turn, now opponent A can play spells on opponent's B turn. However, he's locked out of creatures that don't have flash, artifacts, and sorceries. So he can only play stuff at instant speed, and if he doesn't have anything to cast at instant speed, he just got locked out of a whole turn of commander, right? Then on your opponent B, you pay 3, you untap Isochron Scepter, you tap it again for 2, spending 5 mana this turn, and you lock him out of his turn on his upkeep. And you spend 5 more mana for opponent C, so opponent A, B, and C, and now you effectively lock them all out for their own turn. You're gonna be the most hated player on your pod, but this is a really fun combo that you can play on your opponents. I'm sorry, it just brings back memories, and it's a really good. I think it's a really good combo. Now we go to a last combo that requires a little bit of setup. This combo requires a little bit of setup. However, you can win on turn 2 if you have Walking Ballista on hand. You play Entomb turn 1. You go for Wargorger Dragon. You pitch him to the graveyard. You play Animate Dead and bring back Wargorger Dragon. When it hits the field, you exile all your other permanents. You exile Animate Dead. When Animate Dead leaves the battlefield, then Wargorger Dragon dies and goes back to the graveyard. When he dies and goes back to the graveyard, all your permanents come back into play. And you tap your lands for mana. And you are netting at least 2 mana every cycle of this loop. To break the loop, you need another creature on the graveyard. If you don't have another creature on anybody's graveyard, this includes your opponent's graveyards, you cannot break the loop because it's an infinite loop. So you need another creature in another graveyard because it's an infinite loop, or you need a way to counter your own Animate Dead when it's coming back. A way to exile Animate Dead in response to it coming back. And what are you gonna do with your infinite mana? You go into Walking Ballista and you kill everybody. Other thing that I do that it's fun, it's Valakut the Molten Pinnacle. If you control at least another 6 mountains, every time the cycle happens, you deal 3 damage to target opponent. It actually says target player, but you're not gonna target yourself. So you go into a target opponent, and if you have, like I said, more than 6 mountains, if you have 6 mountains, Valakut is gonna work. And this is not instead of, so you can do this and also bring out Walking Ballista if somehow one of your opponents manages to survive or kill off the Valakut combo. You can still infinite mana into Walking Ballista. I do use in that deck Dryad of the Elysian Grove, which is a card that says that you may play additional land of each of your turns, but it also says that lands you control are every basic type. Therefore, you don't necessarily need them to be mountains. They can be any type of land, basic land, and they are every basic type. I'm sorry, it can be any land, and they are every basic type as well. So they are mountains. This will trigger the Valakut combo even easier. But if you have Hedron Crab, now that's a different type of combo. So for Hedron Crab, you don't actually need more than 3 lands or 2 lands or whatever you have, because you bring back Hedron Crab first, and then you put all your lands, and that activates landfall for each time you bring a land from exile. This activates landfall because it entered the battlefield. Therefore, you can mill your opponents 3 cards every time for 1 or 2 lands that you have. You know, it's a faster combo. You don't need Walking Ballista, but you do need Hedron Crab, which I think I have won several times with Hedron Crab. Granted, your opponent can have something that when it hits the graveyard, you know, when it hits the graveyard, you know, you put everything back to your deck. However, you know, it's likely they don't have anything, and you can just go ahead and infinite mill your opponents. Then you pass your turn, and then but you have to stop the Wargorger Dragon combo. But then you pass your turn, and everybody loses because they can't draw into their own turn. So you just effectively win. This is a combo I use very often, and I have killed a lot of other players with the Hedron Crab combo, Wargorger Dragon, and Animate Dead. Like I said, it's a combo that requires a little bit more setup. However, it's a fun combo to play. I like it a lot, and it may not be, you know, competitive commander, but it's just fun combos that get rid of most of the players in the table. And like always, if you like what we do here, you like our content, please consider subscribing. If this is the second or third time you have been in the channel, please consider subscribing. It's gonna make it easier to find our videos. This video was brought to you by Dex and Game Inc. Links are in the description of the video. And it's also brought to you by Bandit328. He's a Twitch streamer, friend of mine. He's really good. He's going to be playing Legacy and Cube. And he's going to be streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central Time. And like always, that's it for today, and we'll see you in the next video.